of Bitcoin Live. Today, back with me in the show is Shankar of Green Earth Token, blockchain token, I should say. Welcome back to Bitcoin Live, Shankar.
Um, Hi, Nick, and very happy to be back here with you on Bitcoin Live channel and our favorite channel for sharing all the updates on Green Earth blockchain. And so we have updates, and as weeks are passing, work is happening at the back, and so there is a need for sharing the updates through this video. And I would just like to tell people who are watching this video that this will be posted on our site as a blog post, and we will also have a detailed document with along with a chart to explain some of the points better. So it'll be a complete post in itself along with this video.
Last time you were on, you were telling that 2023 will be a very important year, so there will be many updates to come, I'm sure. But what is your overall view on the crypto industry, the crypto space?
Yeah, as you can see, 3 weeks of rally, the market has moved the sentiment up, and so that's why some people are thinking if the market has recovered, and is because, as you can see, Nasdaq, S&P 500, they're also recovering. They have moved above some key levels that they could not break earlier for last several months. So they have broken above resistance lines that were constantly pushing them down. So that's a breakout there, positive breakout. And so there is a positive sense in the market, and crypto industry is reflecting that. Overall, if you see on a 3-year basis, many of the good, fundamentally strong coins and tokens are still at very low levels. So it's actually still very much a low level, and investors who are positive should keep buying. Though some 20, 30, 40% moves have happened in different cryptos over last 3 weeks, none of this is material yet. Lot more is to come. And for example, we also had since the time we spoke, a deal of Avalanche with Amazon, AVAX, and that was also a very positive thing about bringing the crypto blockchain projects into mainstream industry with the likes of Amazon. That was a positive one. Similar news will keep coming as more and more blockchains, including Algorand, which we are using for Green Earth blockchain. It's a very strong blockchain, and we will only hear more and more updates of projects like Algorand and Polygon, Avalanche participating or partnering with frontline companies like Amazon, Microsoft, etc., etc.
So basically this year, you basically see a very positive year ahead for crypto. So you think Bitcoin has also bottomed at 16K?
It's difficult to say because the year has just started, and we don't know whether something will come in the later half, second half of the year, and something will again go down. Difficult to say about bottoms as such, but those are buying levels, and it was there for several weeks, and it came out from there. So we cannot say whether that is a bottom, but what we know is that 16K, 20K, 23K, these are all low levels. So if one hasn't bought there, one can buy. There is, I mean, if one wants to only buy at the lowest level, then that doesn't happen in real life. But the aim is to keep adding positions when you have cash and build that. So yeah, there were opportunities, and there may be corrections, and there may be more opportunities. I think this is a consolidation year to an extent after the large crypto winter. So opportunities to buy will come at periodic levels. But yeah, aim is to add if possible.
And of course, this is not financial advice for the people listening.
Yeah, it is. It is those who are interested in and who are tracking the industry. They are obviously seeing that adoption is increasing. I think those numbers are speaking for themselves. Even in crypto winter of 2022, the projects which were fundamentally strong kept moving forward, and the adoption will increase further. And I think those numbers again will start looking very good. And there's a reason why large companies like Amazon are partnering now with specific projects, because they are seeing that there's something that has to be done which they are unable to do on their own or whatever. They're seeing opportunities. So yeah, I would say that this is a consolidation year after what happened last year, and it should be used to the extent possible.
And of course, there's you also mentioned Dogecoin and Litecoin, so I guess you also are very positive about those. But you
Yes,
have
yes.
some people who say, crypto is dead after the winter, so you can completely discard those kind of remarks.
Yeah. You use them. Use the low prices that come with those remarks.
True. So how will Green Earth blockchain token gain value?
Yeah, this is a question that we have got from a few people because we have launched the GEBT token at $1 in late October, early November on Windax and Dextrade. So our launch price is $1. So we have got that question from some people that okay, what happens from here at $1? Where does it go? What kind of time frames? So that's the reason we wanted to do this call and also have a document which explains with the data. So yeah, green earth blockchain will gain value because there are factors, the same factors which have helped a coin like Bitcoin or Litecoin to gain value since the time they started. The factors of demand supply. In the case of the first factor is for any commodity, stock, cryptocurrency, doesn't matter. The demand supply is very critical parameter, and whether it's a stock commodity like gold, silver, or a crypto like Bitcoin, Litecoin, or a new token like GBT, if the demand starts coming and the supply is not there, the price will move up. And demand is a function of multiple things. One is visibility to a wider base of investors who see the project as something useful, and also demand from people who want to participate in this project at various levels. So we are like, for example, we have a visibility of over 1 million users for GBT token just from India in the near future, and those people are from across India, from farmers to rural communities to customers based in metro cities and urban areas, and various packaging and processing centers. And that is because we are starting off India. Similarly, we will have a large base of users once we come to, let's say, the North American market of US and Canada. So when users are benefiting from the tokens that they receive as part of participating, and uh, we have, as a project, even in our white paper, mentioned clearly that up to 50% of the income that the project earns will be used for buying back GBT tokens from exchanges. So for every $1 the project earns, 50 cents go back to the exchange to buy the tokens back. So that will ensure that as the project gains in business size, the amount of income or capital that will go back to the exchanges to buy the token back will also increase. So the buying demand, will come directly from the greener blockchain project as the project grows. So, so in that sense, there is a base demand of buying will come from the project, and if the project is growing, like any other project, there will be other investors who will say, even I want to buy. So their buying will also add up. And so we'll have two uh, kinds of buyers coming in. One will be the investment buyers, and one will be the buying from Green Earth blockchain just to buy the tokens back from what half, at least half the income. That's what we have planned for.
Well, and it's also very good that you're transparent about that side of the coin, so to speak,
Yeah,
because you got a lot of projects out there who are sort of taking the value of investors and they're doing something with it without actually telling what they're doing with that amount of money that they're receiving, right?
yeah.
So that's very positive. And how many GEBT tokens may be released over the next 8 years? So
Uh,
that's
yeah,
about
because
2030.
2030. Yeah, this uh, our planning on various fronts is from now to 2030. And so I can take some examples here. For every $100 of sales transactions that flow through Green Earth blockchain, the transaction will be, let's say, an e-commerce transaction from a organic food producer, and the buyer is somewhere else. So they will buy, and the transaction comes and gets posted on Green Earth blockchain. So suppose it was $100 worth of transaction, then 2.5 GEBT tokens will get distributed to exactly the kind of image you're showing. 2.5 GBT would get distributed to the different participants in that particular transaction blockchain. So at for $100 is 2.5 GBT at today's prices of 1 GBT. Or today market rate is around 1.15, 1.25, ranges from there, but we are counting one for simplicity. And so at current rates, it's 2.5. If the market prices of GBT token were to move up, then the amount of GBT that will be given out in that transaction will fall, because it's actually a percentage in the USD terms that is given out. So for the same, suppose the token value is not 1 but becomes $5, then for the same $100 transaction on the blockchain, we will give only 0.5 GBT out to users at the current moment. Instead of 2.5. So coming back, so if for $100 of transactions, 2.5 GBT is planned to be released to the various users. So for $1 billion of transaction, 25 million approximately will be released. And we believe that we should aim for 10 billion worth of transactions to be flowing through Green Earth blockchain by 2030 at least. So that will release about 250 million tokens by 2030. That is how we are estimating that if our growth happens as we are planning, about 250 million tokens would have got released across all sets of users, which is including investors, community members, and the end users, customers, farmers, food producers, everyone. And that 250 million represents 1/4 of, or 25% of the total token supply. So in the next 8 years, we are expecting about 25%, up to 25%, not necessarily 25%, up to 25% tokens may get released over 8 years.
Okay. And you sort of already touched upon it, but sort of the traction volume of GBT, what is it and where do you aim for by 2030?
Yeah, we have not gone live with the system yet as of now, and the blockchain system is under development. And the first and strategic partner of Green Earth blockchain is the Ganga project on the ground in India, and it is the Ganga project which is going to be directly partnering with hundreds of farming communities and rural communities across India, and bring on board authentic, genuine products from them, which are not using any forms of chemicals, pesticides, dyes, etc. So there has been a lot of effort going on over the years to uh, establish relationships with such farming communities. Rural in India, they're called self-help groups and farmer communities, and they produce a wide range of food products, right from, let's say, raw grains, which is like rice, wheat, corn, millets, to processed foods, even desserts, and so the biscuits, cookies, all kinds of things. But the thing is that whatever food you can imagine that is being consumed is being produced by them as well. The only difference is that they don't have any visibility due to a lack of marketing, but their products are of very high quality, and that's the whole purpose of the project, to show that their products are truly authentic and genuine and of high quality, and that they merit the purchase. And even if the price is higher, because that's what the aim of the project is, that you have one cookie in the market at X rate, and this is coming at Y, but this Y is because it is having genuine products at each level of the preparation, and that's why it is Y. And so there is a reason why we should go for this, at least those who prefer that, because the blockchain is showing that with proof of authenticity. So that kind of base is being built. And so once we take off by March, the first transactions will start, and by
Wow.
June the transactions will be in flow with almost 500 plus products online on the e-commerce platform, and from there it will grow on to 1,000 plus if we go as per plan this year. And so this is the first main year, and we believe that the critical number is 10,000 customers on the e-commerce platform, Ganga e-commerce platform. When we get to that number, we would have reached a certain essential critical mass from where the system will completely move forward, and we don't have to look back or doubt whether something is correctly working or not working. So our first milestone is 10,000 customers on, and 10,000 customers when they are there, you can safely assume that it would have created about 50,000 to 100,000 net users for GEBT token because of the entire chain involved till the
So,
back.
and that will, of course, create a lot of traction volume on the chain.
Yes, and and the question that you asked, now I can come to that. We would be aiming for at least 10 billion USD worth of transactions by 2030.
Wow, that's quite mind blowing. Wow. So in a quite near future, the system will sort of take off and start
I
feeding
think,
back on itself in a
yeah,
positive way.
there's you asked a very important question about transaction volume because that's essentially what Green Earth will. The success of Green Earth will come with on two parameters. One is the transaction volume that is flowing through Green Earth because unless various food producers and natural product producers feel the benefit of showing their transactions and authenticity on Green Earth blockchain, the value of the system will not really grow. So yes, the number of transactions flowing through the blockchain is a very critical parameter on the success of the system. So on that, we believe that once we have hit $1 billion of transactions on Green Earth, we cannot tell at which point it will happen over the next 8 years, but it will happen. And whenever that happens, from there, uh, the target will not be 10. It will be, we can be sure that it will go far beyond 10 because it can even hit 100 billion transaction volume because the global annual market size of the food industry is $11 trillion today, and
Yeah.
that will go on to become 15 trillion by 2030. So on a market size of $15 trillion, $100 billion is not much at all. In fact, it is less than 1%.
Yeah.
So
So basically, the ambition is
so
very realistic.
so basically, if the thing is that if 1 billion is achieved, then the system has been completely tested, and the what we call as the product market fit is absolutely there, and there are companies willing to pay to use Green Earth blockchain to showcase their authenticity for various use cases. And then we can be sure that if we do more business development, more offices, more team members in different countries, we will keep growing because the global market size is so large for that food industry, and we have use cases outside the food industry as well, as we will cover in this call. So for by 2030, we believe that we should hit $10 billion of transaction volume flowing on the system, and at least in total, if not annual.
And that, of course, will also do something with the price of the token, I imagine.
Yes, because 2 to 5% of that transaction volume will be the income. So for every $1 billion, between 30 to 50 million of income would be there, and half of that would have gone to buy the tokens back. So and so we should be looking at only the supply of tokens which has been released in the market, not the total supply of 1 billion, which is finite. Because tokens which have not been released, they are anyway not getting sold in the market. So that's why we talked about earlier that we believe that about 250 million tokens may be released over the next 8 years, and whatever income we get will go towards buying them. And the thing is this is an important point here. that GEBT tokens would get released only against material contribution to the project. Means if customers are buying the product or an e-commerce transaction is taking place, then we get an income share, and from that we release tokens. A part of that income as tokens. So uh, tokens would get released against e-commerce transaction which is generating revenue or income for our project, or tokens will be given to team members or community members against very material tangible efforts to move the project forward, or tokens would be given to investor who is adding capital for our work and getting token as a result of that. So in every case, the three scenarios: e-commerce transaction, team member by work, or investor by capital, the GEBT token would be given out or released only against something which is very tangible, either a payment or an effort or an investment. So the token would not be going out freely anywhere. So the supply has gone against actual work or payments. So
And
that
one
way
of
we will.
the
So we'll have a very tight control. The aim, if you see the white paper also, we have tried to emphasize that the GBT tokens are finite in number, and there is absolutely no plan to give them away without any strong gains to the project.
and one of the benefits, of course, of blockchain is that it's completely transparent, verifiable accounting, right? So it's what
Yeah,
you're
that's the
saying
easy
is what
part.
we're
That, that's the easy part. That so with blockchain, the whole I mean everything is visible to everyone. So we don't have to even say what we are doing. We just say it's look at the explorer, or if they ask a specific question, we can answer that. Yeah.
And when you hear all this as a viewer, it kind of sort of reminds me of the last chat we had together, and then you said your ambition is actually to become second to Bitcoin. Uh,
Yeah,
is that
yeah,
still
it's
the ambition?
yeah. It doesn't change in 3 weeks. No. No. See, in fact, Nick, the previous the point that we talked, you asked a very good question because it just tallies with the previous one. We talked about the success of Green Earth blockchain. There are two parameters that we will be measuring. One is the volume of transactions on the blockchain, which we just covered, and the second is the number of users. And based on all our observations, we believe that if we don't have a large user base, the project will always be at risk because we would not get the long-term adoption worldwide. And therefore, it is our goal to have a large user base, which is large enough for sure to be in the top 10 user bases of the crypto market. As of now, the top 10 comes from about 2 or 3 million users onwards, and not many are there, and all of them are in the 5 4 3 4 5 million, and Litecoin is around 6 6.5 million, and Bitcoin is around 43 44 million, 45. Haven't seen the latest number, but it's around that 44 45 million. So Bitcoin is far ahead, and the remaining pack is between 3 to 6 million. So we definitely want to be in that pack, and we would like to be behind. So basically, somewhere around the 10 million mark, that will be our goal, and it's possible because the industry we have chosen to take the first major use case is food industry, and we are planning to launch Millets Cafe in India. So this Millets Cafe would be basically organically produced millets, and which are extremely good in terms of diet, fiber content, protein. We want to showcase that the benefits of that healthy diet, and so the cafe would be at various points. We are just in the process of launching them, like near the universities, education centers, where the youth can uh, taste these uh, healthy food products, and at the same time, because they are coming as part of our uh, uh, part of the suppliers, or part of the companies and producers who are on Ganga platform, are everyone who has something in the cafe would also get eligible to get a fraction of a GBT token. So you can imagine that all the youth in the universities, that's our goal, to present them in the cafes, to explain them about the project, Green Earth blockchain project, and they also earn uh, a fraction of GBT token as part of their regular uh, you know visit to the cafe. So that's the way we see with, let's say, if you have 50 or 100 cafes, a million or 2 million users is already there just from the cafes. So therefore, we believe that if we execute the plans that we have, we would go there to a top three position in user base, which is very critical for long-term success.
Well, it's like an excellent business plan with a very lofty vision, and the network growth and demand, utility, right? You all covered it, and I think it's really brilliant. But
I
what I
think there's one point
really,
to remember. One point
yeah,
to remember, Nick, here is that at the moment, Bitcoin, Litecoin, both of them, uh, and the number three probably is Dogecoin, and and they all are, let's say, the truly decentralized projects with no specific owner or founder. And so, in that sense, the real challenge for us as greener blockchain founders is that it will be a first time a project with specific team, named people, faces, to go there into that top three, because that is completely dominated by tokens which are decentralized truly without any one person or any founder face.
yeah, and I think it's maybe also one of the first projects with actually a very clear aim of where it's going, right? Because many
Yeah,
of these projects are sort of vaguely, they haven't really have a niche or a goal set for them, but this is very specific, very targeted um, project, which I really like. And now we get actually to the best part of it, because what I really like about Green Earth token is it makes things greener, fairer, more affordable, and transparent. So how do these sort of use cases of the token feedback in sort of the yeah in the you could say the profit, but in the growth
project
of the
income.
project?
Yeah, I think use cases. If we covered the factors of demand, supply, and the limited supply of the finite supply of GEBT token, which is at 1 billion, and we believe about 25% will get released. So the demand supply, the demand coming from our buying of the token, or the limited supply, they are very strong factors. But the strongest factor for a success of any coin or token would be the use cases. Uh, each Because that's where the users come in the picture, and so our first and major use case with which we have created the vision for the project is the food authenticity tracking, because that we believe is a major cause and major problem to solve. And it is worldwide, and it impacts everyone, and it has significant health consequences also that we could prevent by getting honestly produced food products to people, at least highlighting that these are honestly produced without involvement of pesticides, dyes, chemicals, etc. So, so the first use case of the food authenticity tracking, as we discussed in the previous videos, it also includes the high weightage for locally sourced foods, because uh, when foods are locally sourced and meant for local consumption, even the food producers have no incentive to add any chemicals to extend their lifespan, which is often the reason why they go into adding chemicals so that it can last a bit longer. So we have a higher weightage for locally sourced foods, and that will also boost the local businesses more, because as we grow the project, when somebody is sourcing food from the local suppliers, the amount of GBT tokens given in that transaction will be more, because the weightage of the local economy will be highest in that at a weightage of 1. So the project will reward such activities, and also the carbon footprint of a local economy transaction is also less. No major trucking, shipping involved for that, no chemicals involved in that. So we want to reward that behavior, and significantly. And it's possible that, as we go along and as we grow the project, the incomes come and the investors adopt the project, we will have more capital from token sales at outside some of the bigger centers of like cities. We may be able to let's say, bootstrap or support farmers who are not far from cities, or help them in their activities to produce more in the correct way, because they can supply to the cities now, and they would be fully, it's a win-win, where we support the producers outside the cities, not very far, with whatever capital we have managed to get as part of the project, and then they are fully on board with us, and supplying foods to the city, and all their transactions are on greener blockchain as well. It could be a big win-win. So
Yeah,
that's a,
true.
and so
And
this, go ahead, sorry.
oh no, well, I completely agree because I didn't even mention it. It also reinforces local economies and local communities. I
Yes,
think something that hard and sound money also does, right?
yeah, it is true. And so so the overall size, as I mentioned earlier, of the global food industry is around 11 trillion USD today, and it will go to 15 trillion by 2030. So the size is significant, and even if we get 1% of that, if we think of the global food industry, that's 150 billions of transaction, and that, and on that, the income of the project will be around, let's say, 1% to 3% of that transaction flow. So that will be enough to, just if we get that, that is a very, I would say that the 1% of global food industry is an extremely, uh, well, let's say, super positive scenario, but we would not aim for that. But if it does happen, then it would give around $30 on GBT token, within this 8-year time frame from the current value of one, at least
Wow.
30, because that would mean that uh, a very large part, because 1% on the global food industry will be very large, and if we can manage that, that means the project has been successfully adopted by a very large proportion of genuine organic food producers. Now, if we take another approach, the use case, about if we just take a subset of the food industry, which is the organic food industry, who are focused on producing food in the way, in the natural way, then that market was about $230 billion in 2021, and that is projected to grow about to 700 billion by 2030. So strong growth is there in that, in the organic foods business worldwide. And if we get 1% of that subset market, which is organic foods alone, then that will give about 7 billion worth of transactions. And that is very, very achieve. That is a goal we surely want to aim for and achieve. So when I mentioned to you about a 10 billion transactions flowing on Green Earth, it comes from also from this analysis, that if we can get 1% of the global organic foods industry who's already aligned in vision with what they want to do and what we are doing, then also we have taken off. And if that happens, then it will give about $3 on GEBT token from the one. So there is some upside just from the modest success on the subset industry called organic foods. And if we do more than that, then there's bigger amount. So that's the first use case, the main one. So if we get our modest success even in the main use case of food authenticity tracking, it can take the GBT token from today's $1 to maybe $3 to $30. There's a huge range. That's why. So it depends on how we play out and how we work. So, and then the second use case, which we have mentioned earlier, is natural healthcare. This is also a very attractive use case for us as a project, because we can use the blockchain to authentically track the performance of various natural, Ayurvedic, or herbal products, because there are lots of them worldwide, thousands of them for different kinds of ailments, and there is no system today that tracks how a particular natural, herbal, or Ayurvedic product actually performs, and what, or on what kind of ailment. So Green Earth blockchain wants to have a clear log, or a system that will log the usage of various herbal, Ayurvedic, natural products for different kinds of ailments, and how, and the users will give their feedback on what happened actually with that usage. So we will actually, if the system starts growing, we will have a very sizable logbook of natural products and their benefits, and then users can rapidly see that for their kind of ailment, which product actually benefited a vast number of people, rather than looking at, let's say, ads on or ad feedback on a given product, and that's like 30 people. We don't know whether the 30 were real or not real. Whereas here it will be tracked, so we can be sure that this product actually went there, and the user and the size of the feedback also will be large. We would be looking at thousands of people giving a feedback on a particular product, or a category of product. And for example, if it's, let's say, a herb X, the herb X could be from manufacturer A, B, or C, whoever is producing that. So, but at least the feedback is coming on that herb, and people can decide whether it's for them or not. So that is a piece which is currently missing, and we believe that uh, that could be a very useful system to have for people to have as a reference to select uh, herbal or ayurvedic or natural products for various forms of healthcare. And that's why we're calling it the natural healthcare use case. And the current market size of that is around 22 to 23 billion USD, and it is also poised to grow to around maybe 40 over to 40 plus by 2030. It's a fast growing segment, and we believe that even a modest success here will also give a very good income to greener blockchain. And therefore, and also it matches and aligns with what we are doing to track the authenticity of various products. In this case, it's tracking the authenticity of the product as well as its usage and outputs. So this is a strong one. And the
And
third one, which, sorry, go ahead.
oh, well, no, I don't want to interrupt you, but one of
Yeah.
the other things is, the blockchain also cuts out the middleman. This it makes everything more affordable, which is also a huge benefit, and it allows those farmers, those small farmers, actually as an aggregate to compete with these big multinationals. But
Yes,
yeah, continue.
I
Sorry.
think that the visibility of performance data is missing today, and I think if we can get the Green Earth blockchain to create a nice log of the performance data of various products, natural products, herbal products, Ayurvedic products, that will be a just by itself. If we just completely leave aside the monetary terms, just by itself, that's a very valuable outcome to have, because it will help a lot of people, and in the process we may earn about 1, 2, or 3% or whatever on those transactions, and it will make that system possible and very viable and useful. So, and the third use case which we have covered earlier was carbon credit trading, where it's a very nascent market today, about 2.5 billion USD, but it is poised to grow to 5 to 10 billion in the next 8 years. And greener blockchain wants to use and aggregate the trees of all the farmers that are involved with us. Some farmers may have 5 trees, somebody may have 2 trees, somebody may have 10, 15 trees, but they're by themselves, they cannot even think of getting into the carbon credit market, because those are at on a forest level, or thousands and millions of trees. So but when we aggregate these trees, and each tree is an NFT on the blockchain, so we know that this farm has these many trees, and they're also getting validated and verified by a validator on the greener blockchain on the ground. So we would, when we aggregate all those trees of thousands of farmers, it would be like a large forest in itself, and that can earn income from carbon credit trading. And those customers could be companies like Airbus, Boeing, Ford, various large manufacturers who need carbon credits to offset. And so that will create a good source of passive income from the trees that the farmers own. And those that income cannot come today because their trees are not aggregated into a large block, but Green Earth will aggregate them, and that will be an income stream that will switch on for them. It may not be much at a farm level, but it will be something which they are not getting, and their trees will help them earn. This is the third one. And the
Well,
fourth use case is something which we have started building, and we will highlight the benefits of that more. It's called strategic food reserves. And this is something that we want to do with various governments worldwide to offer our services of Green Earth blockchain to build strategic food reserves for various governments, because we are going through periods of climate change. We believe that there will be periods where crops won't perform, and countries will need to build food reserves. And there's also a need to build non-GMO seed reserves. So that also we will do, because non-GMO requires very careful tracking of authenticity right from the source, which is the core strength for the Green Earth blockchain. So we can actually have that as well. So we are working on that. This will also get live.
I had one question, sort of also relating to sort of the project and how it sort of manages the price. Once it takes off, you also get a lot of speculation that will probably fluctuate the price a lot. Does that in any way interfere with the setup of the system?
No,
Speculation.
it will not. The price of the token in the market will only do one thing. When we distribute tokens on a given transaction, the system goes and checks the GEBT price in real time from the largest, most liquid exchange where the token is trading, and it uses that as a reference for giving out the tokens. So if the price has gone up and rallied up in the last 1 or 2 months, then fewer tokens will go out for that transaction. And if suppose the price has gone down in the last 3 months, like crypto winter, then for the same $100 transaction, instead of 2.5, maybe $3, three will go out. So that can happen. Yes. So there's a market price component involved in the issuing or release of tokens on a given transaction.
So that's done through smart contracts, I think.
Yes, it is. Yes. That's under development.
Okay, so basically this sounds all very amazing. So the prospects for GEBT over the next 8 years are very positive.
Yes, I would say so, because uh, we have seen clear income potential in three use cases, which is the food authenticity tracking, the natural healthcare, and the carbon credits trading. I think these three, the blockchain is readily capable of addressing with what we are developing. And there is a fourth use case I talked about, the strategic food reserves. And there's a fifth use case which is under trial currently, which is called the natural tourism or eco-friendly tourism. It is similar to the food authenticity part, but here instead of the foods, we are talking about the nature-friendly, eco-friendly tourism destinations, or whatever, cottages or resorts which are eco-friendly, and they will also be part of the Ganga project. And when people go there through by buying the stays through the project, then they get tokens as part of the reward, because that the participation in that eco-friendly tourism also is part of what Green Earth aims to establish. So uh, therefore this use case of eco-friendly or natural tourism, is that use case also is under trial currently. And we don't have specific numbers of how much income can come from there, but there is a demand for that. So we will see once Ganga project is live of how what kind of uptick we get on that. But if it goes well, then it will be we will get a separate system for that to run the ecotourism or natural tourism through for Green Earth. So,
And there's also repeating that all of this is also built on Algorand, right? So it's
yeah,
also
yes,
showcases the power of Algorand.
yes. In fact, Algorand, there's no other, in fact, option for Green Earth than Algorand, because the e-commerce or the transaction heavy nature of Green Earth, millions of transactions getting processed once we take off. Uh, Algorand does it with the highest speed and the lowest cost. So that is I think, the top choice. And at the moment, there's actually, for somebody who wants to do a e-commerce kind of system, there's no real second choice. Algorand is the choice.
Okay, well, so maybe we should do a separate show on Algorand in the future.
Yeah.
I would be very excited about that too. But yeah, I want to thank you for being on the show and giving all these updates and developments within this new ecosystem that you're building. And I'm very excited for the future. And I think you're doing an amazing job. And I wish you all the best.
Thank you very much, Nick. And it's always a pleasure to come on the show with you here and share our updates. And Yeah, I look forward to speaking with you again, maybe in a month from now. Thanks
It was
very
a
much.
pleasure.
Yeah, and thanks for everyone who's watching. On behalf of the Green Earth co-founders and the Green Earth team members, thank you very much.
Well, it was a pleasure to host you, and I can't wait till the next episode.
Yeah, thanks. Bye.